And today I'm going to share with you how I made these beautiful gift boxes with the Square Pillow Box Thinlits dies, and you get all these adorable little elements in there and the die for the Thinlit. The first thing that I did was I took my pillow box die and I ran 4 pieces through the Big Shot and cut these all out. So one thing you want to make sure of, if you're using a pattern, like this is a very random pattern, and this is not a random pattern. So you want to make sure if you're using a random pattern or a very specific pattern that you run it through. My words are, facing the right way, so on and so forth. And you need 2 pieces that will go together. This has a score mark here and a score mark here. So we need 2 pieces that will face each other that have the words right side up is a good way to put it. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my musical paper and get good crisp score lines, folds here on my score lines. And I'm going to use my liquid glue. This is my favorite adhesive, especially for stuff like this, because if you make a mistake, you can move it a little bit. But I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive glue on here, and I'm going to make sure that I get it up into these corners, because you don't want those to pop out when you get your box together. And you're just going to leave it lay flat and line it up so it's perfectly aligned with the piece underneath. And we're going to do the same thing to this side. And then just, close it. Make sure you have that lined up just right. Okay, so here's the start of our pillow box. We're going to do the same thing to this piece. Okay, so once we have these glued together, we're going to bring in our paper trimmer, and we are going to make sure that our words are right side up. And this is going to be my top, this is going to be my bottom. So I need to cut the bottom off the top and the top off the bottom. So I'm going to put this in my paper cutter up to 4 1/4 inches. So this is meeting 4 1/4 inches, or about that. This isn't rocket science. And this one, it doesn't matter because this is a random pattern. You just cut off one end. And again, I've got it lined up at 4 1/4 inches. And we're going to cut that off. Okay, now we're going to start working on our belly band. Our belly band is 2 inches by 8 1/2. And I took it and I scored it at 2 1/4. And I just did that because it's a good reference point on where to fold it. The other side I'm going to fold around my box. Now, you don't want this to be super duper tight. We're going to glue it in place, so whether it's tight or not isn't really important, but I want to make sure that it matches up here. Use my bone folder to get a good crease. And then I'm going to come back in and put some glue on here. Set this right back in here. And I do it in just a little less than halfway down. So you've got half of this left and it's taking up half the space. Okay, that looks great. And again, here's some glue to hold this down. You've got a tiny little overlap here, and I'm just going to put a very thin line of glue right there. You can see that. And it's okay that it's kind of sticking out here because we're going to cover it up anyways. And that is real red cardstock. Now I'm coming in with some Mossy Meadow. This is 3/4 inch by 8 1/2. And I did the same thing here. I scored it at 2 1/4. And I'm just going to lay that on here. And I'm going to do what I call a dry fit. I'm going to wrap this around the other side. Make sure it's lining up there and everything looks good because I want it to be straight on here. And that looks great. And then I'm just going to put a little glue here. Again, and make sure that it's going across there straight. And now we're going to glue this down. There we go. And if you'd like to, you can take a little bit of Scotch tape and put that on there to hold everything securely. This is all going to be covered up. And notice that this is the front of my pillow box, and I'm putting my seams right here so the back will look nice and neat. I'm going to come in with a gold doily. And these doilies are really nice. These are foil doilies. They come in a pack. You get 6 big gold ones, 6 big silver ones, 6 small gold ones, and 6 small silver ones. So there's 24 in a pack. I absolutely love these. I've taken dimensionals and put them on the back here. When I'm at home, this is when I use up all my edges. So that's why they're a little bit of a different shape besides the honeycomb shape. But I'm just going to take these. Whoops. Forgot one thing. Our beautiful ribbon. This is our gold glitter ribbon, and this comes in a pack with our white glitter ribbon. Isn't that gorgeous? So you get both of these in a pack. And I'm going to put this around my belly band. And the way I like to do that is I like to add a little bit of tape right to the middle of the green layer. And that just kind of helps hold it in place for me. And whoops. And then I'm just going to put a little bit in the middle here. And that'll help hold it in place here. And I'm not pulling this tight. And then a little bit more here. So I've got several different gluing options here. Now, I am always one to secure ribbon with real tape, because I don't want it getting away from me or falling apart. So there we go. It's not going to go anyplace now. Now I'm going to take my gold doily, and I'm going to make sure that my dimensionals go on either side of the ribbon, and I'm going to center this on my belly band. So I've got a little bit coming down below and a little bit going up above. Next, what I did, I took the Among the Branches stamp set, and I stamped Making Spirits Bright. I used a 2-inch circle punch to punch this out. And then I used our sequins. And right now all I've got here is my silver ones, but we have gold sequins. And I just cut them a little bit, and I just pull some off. So you just pull some of these sequins off. And then I used our fabulous new fine tip glue pen and dotted some glue on there and added those little sequins, if you can see those. They just add that little bit of embellishment that makes it extra special. And then we have our Santa Claus here. Where is that coming from? Home for the Holidays Designer Series paper, which is what I'm using to make my boxes, has a whole sheet of Santa Clauses. And I just took one and cut it out and taped it to the back. And then I'm going to adhere that to my doily. And I'm just going to center that and make sure that it's straight. Gosh, how cute is that? And then we've got this awesome little star punch. And I took a glue pen and punched out a real red star. I'm sorry, not a glue pen, a white gel pen. And wrote to and from on it. And I'm going to put that right up here. You could make a little tag for your box if you wanted to, but I just wanted something that would stay there and be simple. And then your box goes together just like this. And it'll roll right up in there to the halfway point and meet this one inside the belly band. And now what you can do, which I think is really cool, is you can fold these down. It's easiest if you kind of puff them up like this and then fold and get your fingers in there and kind of work it on the score line. I hope you can see that score line kind of coming together there for me. And again, it works better if you puff it out. And here comes the other side, and I'm just going to kind of manipulate it with my fingers. Now, so thanks for joining me today for this little tutorial. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would be happy to earn your business. please pop me an email at kelly@astampabove.com, and I would be happy to send you a mini catalog and a big catalog. And hop on over to my blog, astampabove.com, where you can see a lot of projects, more details, measurements, all kinds of great stuff on there. Have a great day.